What's up, you guys? It's Amelia Foxy Fry here again, and tonight, it's late, but I told my husband that I would get the rest of this stuff organized so that I can get it off of our couch so that he has somewhere to sit. I wanted to talk about my endometriosis journey. I talked to you a little bit about how I got my muscular dystrophy diagnosis and how hard it was, and getting the endometriosis diagnosis was just about as difficult. Okay, so I started my period in 7th grade, and I remember I was in so much pain, and my mom came out and said that I could stay home from school that day, but that was it. I could not miss any other days. It was something that I was going to experience every single month for the rest of, for the next 20 years at least. And so I needed to get used to it, and I had to power through because life couldn't stop for your period. And so, I was home for a couple of days, actually. I was in so much pain, I was home for a couple of days. And so then the next month it came, and again, it was a lot of pain. And, I told my mom, and she said, well, all right, this is it. We got to figure this out, though. And even then, I know that people thought that I was just real wussy, right? Like, I just couldn't handle the cramps. Like, I apparently they thought I had a really low tolerance for pain. I told her how bad my periods were, and they just kind of wrote it off. It was. And so then, I never really brought it up. It was very rare that I brought it up because I had been written off about things from forever. Everybody just thought I was dramatic. Everybody just thought that that I had a low threshold for pain. But then when I broke bones, or when I had other things, I broke my arm when I was in 4th grade, and they didn't even take me to the doctor. I broke it while we were on vacation, and out in the woods, and I just kind of hung around, put ice on it, and they didn't even take me to the doctor until that was Saturday, till Monday, almost after school. I finally was like, I can't take this anymore. But so there are things that said that I didn't have, that I actually had a very high pain tolerance, but still I was treated as if I didn't. And then, I will say that so Jake and I had gotten engaged, and just things were getting really, really bad. And this was around the time, like I said, when the pain throughout my body was also peaking. And so I was trying to see the doctor about the pain throughout my body and my migraines and everything else. But then also I was having a lot of pain in my, my low stomach area. And it was getting worse. It was getting worse and worse. And it was getting to the point where I was starting to miss a lot of work, because when I was on my period, that first couple of days, I was absolutely miserable. And I still have vivid memories of my period on that first day at work. And I would go out, I would talk to a table, and then I would go back in the back, and I would kind of hide and just like crouch over, bring my knees up to my chest, and just kind of sit against the wall, because putting that pressure on helped it. And it was bad. It was bad. But the thing was, it was starting to not just be pain on my periods, but pain all of the time. Like, I had constant abdominal pain. And I finally I was going to the doctor. And they ordered an ultrasound, and they did the ultrasound and it came back normal. They couldn't see anything on it. And meanwhile, you guys, I'm having this pain as I am trying to plan my wedding, like in the thick of it, right? This was in April. I want to say it was like March or April, and we were getting married in September. So I was in the thick of all of it, and I was just having this crazy amount of pain. They ordered a CT scan for me. It just happened to fall on the first day of my period when I went to go get my CT scan results. And I just was in so much pain because the pain had just been getting progressively worse and worse every single month. And so by the time I went, by this time, when I'm in a lot of pain like that, I will get really, I'll get, my skin will turn really white and blotchy. It'll be red, like white with red blotches, and I could not sit still. I could not sit still. She comes in and starts telling me that it looks like on the CT scan they can see that I had a very large ovarian cyst, a very large ovarian cyst. But it had popped, it had ruptured. And so, because all they could see that, in there now was the blood from it having popped. And normally, when that happens, I've had friends that have had ovarian cysts and they end up in the emergency room. Once it pops, they are good to go. And, I was not. I was still in, and it was at that time when she said, so you should be starting to feel better. It's like she didn't even notice until that point. Like she was so focused on giving me the results that she wasn't really paying attention. And so she said, wait, what's going on? Like, why, where do you hurt? And I said, this is what my periods are. I'm in this much pain every single month. And she was like, all right, nope, this is not normal. Mind you, you guys, for the past 10, 11 years, she had been telling me that my periods were no different than anybody else's, that I was experiencing the same amount of pain as everybody else. And now she's saying, hold on, this is not normal. Nobody's period is this bad. My wife went out, and I didn't know where she'd went, actually. She came back in and introduced me to to a doctor, and he came in. He said, this is not normal. We don't know what's going on. You've had normal CT scans. You've had, we haven't seen anything on the ultrasound, but what you're going through is not normal, and so we need to look into it more. And he scheduled me surgery for the next week, and they were ready. This was no joke, and now all of a sudden we're in a rush to be able to figure it out, right? So I made a post on Facebook and said, I am just to tell people that I was having surgery and that I might be out for a little while, and just, I don't know, kind of just updating people, but also like, I can't believe this is happening right now of all times, right before my wedding. And one of the comments that I got on there was, Emily, you are such a hypochondriac. You just need to knock it off and buck up. And you guys, like I had been being told forever that, hearing that from a family member really bothered me and started making me second guess myself. Because like I said in my last video, when you are told something that is in your head for so long, you really start to question yourself. You really start to question if that's true. If, is this pain in my head? Am I making things up? It's really hard. It's really hard to have people question you like that. And so I debated after that about even having the surgery. I up until I remember the night before surgery, bawling to my husband and saying, should I do this? Like, I don't, is this in my head? Should I do this? Like, am I, and it was awful. It was awful. And thankfully, my husband, who is, I've talked about him before, the most amazing man in the world. He's so supportive of me all the time. He was like, you've got to, you're miserable. There is, there's something wrong with you. You need to go in and have this surgery. And so I did. And I remember just like, they had to actually give me anxiety medication because I was so stressed out. And when I woke up, the first thing that I said, I'm keeping those. The first thing that I said to my mom was, I looked at her. It was I came out of it really horrible. First of all, the surgery, I don't react well to the anesthesia sometimes. But I looked at my mom, and the first thing I said to my mom was, did they find anything? And my mom looked at me and she said, oh yeah, they found a lot. And so I was finally validated. I finally knew, like I had an answer. I finally knew I wasn't crazy. And she started to tell me about the endometriosis, but she didn't fully understand it. I'd never heard of it. Anyways, so he came in, he told me a lot of things about endometriosis that are just absolutely not true. The problem with you guys, endometriosis was being treated better back in the 50s and 60s than it is now. The only cure for endometriosis, and there is a cure, is first is surgery, and the only way to diagnose it also is surgery and cut it out. The doctor that I was seeing at the time, that is not what he did the first time. The first time he did what's called ablation surgery. But when you do that, it just makes it angry. It may help for a little while, but really it just makes it angry, and then it comes back with a vengeance, which is exactly what it did. But he told me that I would likely need to be having surgeries every 2 years, basically every other year, for the rest of my life, pretty much. Unless I had kids, which he said, you should start trying to have kids right away so that you can, it'll cure it. And of course, when I did the research, that's exactly what it said. Your first kid is a 50% chance that you're gonna cure. Your second kid has a 95% chance of curing your endometriosis. He was like, you should start trying to get pregnant right away. And I was like, can I get married first? And so he was like, well, yeah, but but I was feeling better. I was feeling so much better after that first surgery. And so we got married. But we didn't want kids right away. We weren't ready for kids right away. We had been together for almost 4 years. Actually, we had been together for 4 years by the time we got married. But we just moved into our house not that long ago. I don't know. We just didn't want to rush into kids. Probably about a year after our wedding, we decided that we were ready. We wanted to start trying for kids. And my sister-in-law was pregnant, and we thought it was a good time. And so that December, it was so we got married in September, and then the following December, I had a positive pregnancy test, and my period was really late. And at that time, I did not know that you didn't really, like, that positive pregnancy tests weren't, like, they weren't a fluke, right? I thought you could get a false positive. And really, I mean, you can have chemical pregnancies, but you can't really have a false positive pregnancy test. I had that positive pregnancy test, and then I did end up having some symptoms, and then I had my period. My period was like 2 weeks late, and it wasn't like any of my other periods, I will say that, but I just thought that my period was late, and because of that, it was kind of weird. Now I know that was my first miscarriage. And so thankfully I didn't know at the time, and we continued to try. But by about April, May, I think it was April, I was having a lot of pain again. I was having a lot of pain. We'd been trying for quite a while. So I had the miscarriage in December, but we had been trying since the summer before. So, it was taking some time to get ready, but the pain was starting to really bother me. And he had told me to come back in, when that happened. I had called. I fully expected to be able to just go in like before, because I'd gotten in within a week. And, I thought that's what was going to happen again this time. And in the meantime, I had quit my job. This is the job that I told you about that was absolutely awful, that my boss was terrible. And I had I had to get a new job, but, I needed to have surgery. And so it was like I couldn't really look for a job at that time because of that. My unemployment was running out. And so when we scheduled the surgery, I thought again that it was going to happen just like it did the last time, and it didn't. It took about 6 weeks for me to have the surgery. And again, just like last time, I was super stressed that it was in my head, that there wasn't really anything, and he was going to come out and say, "You're a wuss, you don't," but he didn't. Again, things were really, really bad. And in fact, this time, my right ovary was attached to my abdominal wall. And so he had to pull that apart, and, it was just a mess. It was a mess in there again. And like I said, doing ablation surgery, all it does for endometriosis is really ticks it off. The gold standard of care is to cut it out. But it appears in so many different ways, and that unless there's a doctor that just only does endometriosis surgeries all day, every day, doesn't deliver babies, like that's all they do, they don't know how it appears, right? They don't know how to get all of it. And so he, thankfully, the second time was doing, forgot about that guy. He's so cute. He delivered babies, like that was what he did. And so he did better the second time than he did the first time, but still not perfect. But I came out of surgery and I was feeling a lot better, and I was very hopeful that things were going to get better. I was going to get pregnant, and then after having my baby, it was going to cure it, and I wasn't going to have to worry about it anymore. And that's really what I thought. That was the research I had done. That's what the research said. I went back to him a few weeks after surgery. He said, "All right, you're good. Start trying to have a baby." And we did. And we started trying in June. And by July, I had a positive pregnancy test, and I was so excited. There was no doubt that it was positive this time. And I did a fun thing to let my husband know, and it was just it was a really exciting time in life. And then a few weeks later, right before my first appointment to go in and have my first ultrasound, and you guys, I didn't know this. My doctor does, the clinic that I went to, we did an ultrasound. They did an ultrasound with every single pregnancy. Just because, like, I know that a lot of clinics don't do that, but mine does. And I was so excited to get to go see my baby for the first time. And I want to say on like it was, my appointment was on Friday. Tuesday, I started bleeding. I called him, I let him know. He said, come in. I went in and he said, I'm really sorry. There's no baby. There's no sac. Your body is already taking care of it. I just think that maybe it was too soon after surgery. Let's give your body a rest. He told us not to try. And give it about, he said, what did he say? I think he said 3 cycles, 2 or 3 cycles. And so we did. And then, I was feeling a little better. And that was the thing. I had started a job. I had told everybody at that job that I was pregnant. I was so excited. And then I started a new job. I got a different, better job that I liked a lot better. But I moved to the new job before I had the miscarriage. So I wasn't able to tell any of those people that what had happened. And so when I would see them out and about, because Ogden, Utah is a real small place, and they would ask me about the baby, and then I would have to tell them about it. It was really, really hard. And then, we started trying again. And in that time, my sister-in-law had my nephew, and we went to see them in the hospital, and everybody knew. I had told everybody that I'd had a miscarriage. Everybody knew that it had happened. And so they were, very, what's the word? They were very aware of the situation, and, were very kind and tried to, it was tough, right? Because it's like this happy time because I've got my nephew and we're so excited, but at the same time, my husband and I going through a really horrible loss. And I just remember leaving the hospital devastated, for telling my husband how happy I was for my sister and brother-in-law, and that, it just was such an amazing thing, but how sad I was at the same time, because I really wanted a baby. And little did I know that I actually was pregnant at that time with my oldest. And I found out not too long afterward. But yeah, I was pregnant. And so I had an amazing pregnancy. Like, everything was perfect with that pregnancy. And I went full term. Lily came out. She was healthy. Everything was great. It was, I don't know how else to explain it. I had what I always wanted. I had a little girl. She was beautiful. She was perfect. And she still is. I love her so much. And when she was about, I think she was about 4 or 5 months old, and we were like, you know what? Because I was older, you know, things with the way things had happened, we had started later. I was older, and we just thought, you know what, we're not gonna try to prevent it. We're going to, if it happens, it happens. But we didn't think it would happen very quickly, right? I just had her, but at when she was 5 months old, I had another positive pregnancy test. And oh my gosh, I was so freaked out because, you know, they were going to be 14 months apart, and not even that, like just over a year apart. And I could not believe it. And never once did it cross my mind that I would have another miscarriage. Never once. I thought, you know, I know that they're common. I know women have them, but I didn't think that they happened multiple times. So it never was even a thought that crossed my mind. And then because I was having lots of, you know, I was having lots of symptoms. I mean, I was definitely pregnant. And then I thought I was only about 10 weeks pregnant. But I was showing quite a bit. And my mom kept telling me that she thought that I was further along than that. And I kept telling her that no, I wasn't. And then I started bleeding. And I was definitely further along than I thought. I'm not going to go into how I knew that, because it wasn't, yeah. I don't talk about this very often. So I made the appointment with the doctor. I went in and he confirmed that, yes. I forgot to mention that with Lily, I mean, I did have a pretty healthy pregnancy, but in the first trimester, I did bleed quite a bit. And especially in it, like every month, right? So like, it was kind of like I was still having my period. I wasn't, but it was kind of that, right? And so when I first started to bleed, I really hoped that it was going to be the same thing, but it was way too heavy. And I don't want to go into it. I knew I'd lost the baby. And so when I made that when I made the appointment with the doctor, I knew what he was going to tell me, but it didn't make it any easier. But I still had hope that that was not the case. So then again, we waited a few months, and we weren't in a hurry. Like I said, we still had my daughter, and she was still under a year old. I just feel like it just, you know, wasn't meant to be. So we prevented it for a few months, and then again we just were like, whatever happens, happens. And so then I got pregnant with Penny, and I just was so stressed out, right? Because that second, and by then too, I also knew that very first positive pregnancy test that I'd gotten, it was actually, I had been pregnant, that I'd had a miscarriage, like everything about it now, like, you know, at that, I knew that that's what it was. And so being pregnant with Penny was very stressful because any little thing would freak me out, because now I knew that, it was possible to have more than just one miscarriage. And I was scared to death that it was going to happen again. And at 15 weeks, I was in a pretty bad car accident on the freeway. I started having contractions right then. Like, I was having contractions all day, every day from that time on. With Penny, I was so scared. It was like a constant stress, thinking that I was going to lose her. But obviously I didn't. Thankfully, she made it. She's here. She's my little miracle baby. It was a pretty big scare when she was born. She took a breath too soon and sucked in a lot of amniotic fluid. She ended up being in the NICU for the first week of her life. Lily actually went to the NICU for a little while right after she was born as well. And so I've never experienced getting to go home with a baby. I've always been discharged before my babies, which is something I don't wish on any mom, having to spend those first days in the hospital. But Lily was only in the hospital for a few days, in the NICU for a few days. Penny was in for a week. But once she came home, she's been completely healthy since. It's been amazing. They're both just amazing young women now, really. They're getting so old. But we knew that we weren't done. We knew that we wanted 4 kids. That was always the plan. We were going to have 4 kids. I always knew that the first 2 were going to be girls, and then the boys would come after that. And that my husband always wanted a little boy, and that's what we were gonna do. But after Penny, the endometriosis did not get better. I still had a lot of pain, but I also knew that, and the surgeon that did my first endometriosis surgery is actually, I had switched over to him to deliver my babies. I just loved him so much. He was so amazing. After that second surgery with him, I started doing more research about endometriosis, and I found there's a website on Facebook, you guys, if you have endometriosis, called Nancy's Nook. It's got accurate endometriosis information. I may do a live about that, just about all the misconceptions and all of the things. But really what it comes down to is that you need to see a specialist, and there are not very many in the world. Thankfully, I found out after doing all the research, there was an endometriosis specialist in Utah, of all places, and that I needed to go in to see him for the next surgery because things were getting bad again. I had 3 more miscarriages. And then when I was in the process of looking for a specialist, I got pregnant again, and things were going pretty well at first, but I didn't want to tell anyone about it. And I had decided, though, that I was going to tell the family, everybody at Thanksgiving. I would have been, that was at the mark where I was out of the first trimester, and just because the other miscarriages, the 3 others that I'd had were really early on, like, between 6 and 8 weeks. I had made it out of the first trimester, and we thought we were safe, and I was going to tell everybody at Thanksgiving. And Thanksgiving came, and my cousin's wife was pregnant, and she was telling us about it. Couldn't tell everybody. I'd been having some pain that I didn't really know what was happening, and I didn't feel like I could tell people, and so I didn't. And the day after Thanksgiving, that Friday, I called my doctor. I said, look, there's something wrong. There's something wrong. I'm in a lot of pain, and I really need to be seen. And they said, it was Thanksgiving. They told me I needed to go to the emergency room. So I did. I went to the emergency room. They did an ultrasound. This was really hard. And everything was perfect. I really wish I hadn't gone. I saw the baby for the first time. They were perfect, measuring right where they should, and everything looked right like it should, which they told me was a really good thing, that they would send everything to my doctor, and that I didn't need to worry anymore. And my mom had taken me because I was scared and I just needed her, and Jake needed to stay home with Lily and Penny. And I remember walking out of the emergency room and my mom saying, that makes me feel much better. Everything's good. You're fine. And I said, Mom, I don't feel better. I said, there's something wrong. I should not be in the amount of pain that I'm in. There's something wrong. And she said, you're fine. You just saw it. We're fine. And I said, I know. And I wish that I felt better, but I don't. And the next day, I started bleeding and I lost the baby. I lost that baby, and I think it made it even harder because, oh shoot, I can do this. I saw it. I saw it on the ultrasound. I saw it moving and doing all the things that babies do at that time, and then to lose it. And I've had 8 miscarriages, and it never gets easier. And as much as I love my husband, and I do, he's the greatest. He does not talk about his feelings at all. He has a very hard time with any kind of emotion like that, and so I felt like I was going through all of it alone. And because he didn't voice, what he was feeling, I felt like he did not care as much as I did, or that it wasn't affecting him like it was affecting me. now, you know, that we're further out from it and healing somewhat. I don't know if we'll ever truly heal from it. I realize that that's absolutely not true, that he was suffering, maybe not quite as much as I was, but he was. After that last miscarriage, we kind of took a break, but I also was able to get in to see the endometriosis specialist that was in my area. It was a little bit difficult because, you know, I went in, saw him, he recommended surgery again, which I did. And just like every other surgery I've had, I had some real doubts about whether or not things were as bad as I thought they were, if I actually needed the surgery, all of those things. But again, he got in there. It was a big mess. Because my other doctor that I had seen didn't do endometriosis surgeries on a regular basis. He had missed a lot of things that this doctor did not. My ovary was again attached to my abdominal wall. There was a lot of scar tissue that had to be cleaned out. I will say that was the absolute worst surgery that I have ever been through in my life. The amount of pain I was in afterward. I didn't have a hysterectomy. That was the other thing, is while he was in there, we kind of suspected that I also had adenomyosis. And while he was in there, he was like, yes, I definitely think that's what this is. The thing with adenomyosis, though, is that the only way to diagnose that is to do a hysterectomy. And we, at that time, were still wanting more kids. I didn't get the hysterectomy. And you know, after I was fully healed, he gave us the go-ahead to try for more babies. And it never happened again after that. I had a lot of trauma from all of the miscarriages. I was, you know, the endometriosis was gone, but the adenomyosis was there. So after a few years, I might have been 39 when I finally had that last surgery. I had to heal for quite a while. We waited for about another 2 years. I wasn't getting pregnant. I was now 40, you know, in my 40s. And it was just like, you know what? I'm too old. My husband actually came to me one day and he said, I want to go get a vasectomy. And I really appreciated him saying that. I mean, that was huge. You know, I'd been through so much and he didn't want me to have to go through anymore. So I thanked him, but I said, you know what? I have to have a hysterectomy anyway. I'll just do it. And so that's what I did. I found a really amazing doctor who did the hysterectomy. I asked him to look for any endometriosis that there was. He said there wasn't any. That's what he said. There's a lot of scar tissue, but I had, I've had 5 surgeries total there now. And then he also said that it was definitely adenomyosis. They sent it away. It was. So I guess from all of it is to advocate for yourself. You know, as women, we're just discounted so much. And I said this in my last video, but we are. People don't want to believe us. They think that, you know, my whole life, people have always thought that I was a wuss or I was a hypochondriac. None of it has been in my head. All of it has been real. And is it crazy that I have so many things going on with my body? Yes. Is it impossible? No, because it's happening. And I just, if you are having issues, if you know, that's the one good thing to come of all of this is because I have girls, right? I have girls. So the endometriosis is hereditary. I know what it's like. I know what the symptoms are. I can advocate for my girls. I can make sure that if any of these things happen with them, that I know what doctors to seek out. Advocate for yourself. If you know there is something wrong, then continue to see providers. Go do what you have to do in order to be heard and to be seen, and don't stop. Don't think. That's the one thing, you guys, is I have allowed people my entire life to make me feel like I was crazy, like I was a hypochondriac, like I was making things up, and I'm mad. I'm mad at them, and I'm mad at myself because I have known these things all along, and I'm not putting up with it anymore. I'm not. I won't. And my girls most definitely will not. My girls are very strong-willed, and sometimes it sucks. Sometimes it's very difficult. But you know what? They know what they want, and they are not going to take anything less, and I applaud them for that. I am not going to raise people pleasers like I was. Do what you need to do to make sure that you are taken care of. And if that's the only thing that you get from this video, please do that. The medical profession has got to change. It's got to change. It is ridiculous that women have to suffer the way that we do for so long. And even when we have a diagnosis, they still don't know how to treat it. Endometriosis is huge. It is very common, you guys, and there is no reason for us to be treating it worse today than we were in the 50s. They were doing better. They were treating it better. Let that sink in. In 1950, they were treating and curing endometriosis better than they are today with all of the advancements. And can I tell you, this just gets me going, because I was asked to be a part of a study for endometriosis, and the first question they asked me was how my endometriosis affected my husband's sex life. Why? Again, if you have any questions, if you want more information about endometriosis, you're not alone. Your pain is real, and there is help and there is hope out there for you. And I just hope that you will find it. I appreciate you so very much. But anyways, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night or evening or morning or whatever it is, wherever you are. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.